Inside Bittensor right now, there is a $1.5 billion economy that most crypto investors don't know exists. 128 individual markets, each with its own token. Over 9 trillion tokens of AI inference processed through one subnet alone. And the uncomfortable truth is that most of these tokens are going to zero. If my last video convinced you that TAO matters, this one shows you exactly what is happening inside it, and more importantly, how to tell the winners from the bags. Quick context, I called TAO at $8 a coin in November of 2022. I'm still holding. My last video was the macro thesis on why TAO matters. Jensen Huang, the halving institutional flow. This one is the sequel. It goes one level deeper into the part most crypto channels dodge because actually doing a research on each subnet is hard. I've been watching this ecosystem daily for 3 years. Let's go. So first, the question most people skip. What is a subnet actually? A subnet is a specialized marketplace inside Bittensor that produces one specific kind of AI service. Each subnet has miners who compete to deliver that service and validators who score the quality of the output. The best miners earn the most rewards, the worst get nothing. Think of it this way. If Bittensor is the internet of AI, a subnet is one specific protocol on top of it. Subnet 64 produces AI inference. Subnet 62 produces decentralized storage. Subnet 4 validates the quality of language model outputs. AI agents, text-to-speech, image generation, prediction markets, drug discovery. If it is an AI task, there is almost certainly a subnet competing to produce it. As of April 2026, there are 128 of them. That is a protocol-level hard cap, and the network's long-term roadmap targets 256. Each one is its own little economy. Now, the piece that changed everything. In February of 2025, Bittensor rolled out Dynamic TAO, dTAO for short. Under dTAO, every single subnet has its own alpha token, its own liquidity pool, and its own independent market. That is not cosmetic. That is structural. Here is why it matters. Before dTAO, the core team and a small group of validators decided which subnets deserved the most emissions. It was top-down. Under dTAO, the market decides. If you stake TAO into Subnet 64's liquidity pool, you're signaling with real capital that you think Subnet 64 is valuable. Your stake tilts the emissions flowing into that subnet. So if a subnet is producing real demand and real usage, its alpha token rallies, more capital flows in, and its miners get paid more. If it's vaporware, it dies quickly. As of March 2026, the combined market cap of all subnet alpha tokens is roughly $1.5 billion. That is about 27% the size of TAO itself. And that 1.5 billion is not spread evenly, it's heavily concentrated in the subnets that are actually working. Let me show you the 3 that are. First and most important, Chutes, Subnet 64, run by a company called Rayon Labs. Chutes is a decentralized AI inference platform. You can think of it as a permissionless alternative to the open AI API. You send a prompt, miners run DeepSeek, Llama, Mistral, or any other open model on their GPUs and return the response. Validators score the output for quality and speed, and the throughput numbers are real. As of April 2026, Chutes is processing over 12 billion tokens of inference per day, over 400,000 users, over 9 trillion tokens processed across its lifetime. It has become one of the top open source AI inference providers on OpenRouter, ranked alongside the largest centralized providers in the space. Under the hood, hundreds of H200s and A6000s are live on the network, serving real developer traffic. That is the single most important fact about the subnet economy right now. Chutes is not speculation. Chutes is a real product with real users with real token throughput running on decentralized infrastructure. This is the subnet that is proving the entire Bittensor thesis. Second, Ridges. Subnet 62, this is the one I think most crypto investors are sleeping on. Ridges runs AI software engineer agents on Bittensor. The miners are autonomous coding agents. They do code generation, bug fixing, and test writing, then compete on benchmarks for who ships the best pull request. The validators score them. The target market is the $400 billion global software engineering spend. Their near-term roadmap includes a decentralized IDE, a competitor to Cursor, built natively on Bittensor. Here's why this matters. Coding agents are already the single highest revenue category of AI agents in the world. GitHub Copilot is one of the fastest growing subscription products in Microsoft's history. Cursor is reportedly doing 9 figures in annual recurring revenue. Ridges is trying to build a decentralized version of that. with the miners competing for emissions. If even a single-digit % of AI coding agents migrate onto a permissionless on-chain protocol, Ridges is the default front end. Third and most nuanced, Targon, Subnet 4. Targon validates the quality of language model outputs across the entire Bittensor network. It's the scoring layer, the referee. Without Targon and subnets like it, you can't trust that a miner is actually running the model they claim to be running. It is invisible plumbing. Invisible plumbing is often the best business in a network. Beyond the top three, there are a few emerging subnets worth watching. Hippius Subnet 24 is building decentralized storage natively on Bittensor. Think of it as the subnet level answer to S3. Affine is pushing into AI application layer tools, and there are dozens more with varying quality, some doing genuine research, and many, frankly, that exist to farm alpha token speculation. That's the honest picture. About 10 to 15 subnets out of the 128 actually have traction. The rest are either too early to judge or already failing. This is why evaluating each one matters. Now, the part I refuse to skip. Most subnet alpha tokens will go to zero. Let me say that again because it's the most important sentence in this entire video. Most subnet alpha tokens will go to zero. That is not a bug in the design. That is the design. The whole point of dTAO is that subnets compete for emissions and the losers don't get paid. If a subnet is not producing real demand, if nobody is actually using the service it generates, its alpha token has no cash flow, no real buyer, and no reason to exist. Subnet 3 is the canonical recent example. It had one of the most hyped alpha tokens in the network, then the lead team exited and the value collapsed. Anyone who treated that alpha token like a regular altcoin got hurt badly. If you are going to participate in the subnet economy, you have to accept that most of your bets will lose. The upside is that the winners can more than pay for the losers, but only if you are picking with a framework, not just chasing whatever is trending. So how do you actually pick? 6 things I check before I take any subnet seriously. 1. Real external users, not miners farming each other, actual developers, companies, or humans paying for the service. Chutes has 400,000 users. That is a real external number. 2. External revenue or throughput. Inference tokens served to open router, coding agents shipping real pull requests, files stored by real customers. If the only demand is the miners themselves, it's a closed loop. 3. Team and incentive alignment. Is the team doxed? Are they committing code publicly? Are they locked into long-term staking or ready to dump at the first rally? 4. Liquidity depth on the alpha token. You want deep pools, tight spreads, and real volume. Thin liquidity means you are the exit liquidity. 5. Position on the emissions curve. A subnet earning high emissions today can lose them fast if the market reprices it. Track the trend, not the snapshot. 6. Competitive moat. If 3 other subnets are trying to do the same thing, the one with the best traction wins and the others fade. Run this framework on any subnet before you touch it. Now here's what I am personally watching. No price targets on any alpha token. That's not the point. These are the subnets where the underlying protocol signals are real and improving. Chutes, Subnet 64. I watch daily inference throughput on OpenRouter and unique paying user count. Ridges, Subnet 62. I watch pull requests shipped and agent benchmark scores. Targon, Subnet 4. I watch total validation throughput across the network. The referee can't be understaffed. Hippius, Subnet 24. I watch stored data growth and external API integration. And for everything else, I watch emissions rank on taostats.io. If a subnet's emissions are trending up week over week, the market is repricing it higher. If they're trending down, the market is voting it off the network. That is the signal that actually matters. Everything else is noise. Here is my take, and I will defend it. Most crypto channels treat subnet alpha tokens like meme coins. They pump the top emitting ones, ignore the fundamentals, and move on. That is exactly how retail investors lose money. The subnets that matter are the ones producing real services for real users. Those are also the ones where TAO itself captures the most value because they are the reason Bittensor stays relevant to anyone outside crypto. Trade them as meme coins and you lose. Treat them as what they actually are, and there is real alpha here. So what to track and what to ignore? Ignore the short-term alpha token pumps. These tokens are extremely thin, and a single whale can move them 50% on any given day. Ignore Discord hype threads, ignore anonymous Twitter accounts telling you which subnet is next to 10x. What actually matters? 1. External usage, real customers, real tokens served, real pull requests. 2. The TAO stats emissions curve rising or falling week over week. 3. Team stake lockup after the conviction mechanism rolls out across all mature subnets. 4. New subnet launches replacing the bottom performers on the leaderboard. The system is designed to let winners eat losers. Important caveat, subnet alpha tokens are extremely high risk. Most of them will lose value over time. This is not financial advice. Do your own research, size accordingly. That's non-negotiable for a video like this. What would force a real re-rate on the subnet economy from here? 4 things I'm watching. 1. External enterprise adoption. If a single mainstream tech company, a startup, a mid-cap software firm, anyone, plugs into Chutes for production inference, that is a massive validation moment. 2. A Bittensor ETF or institutional wrapper that includes subnet exposure, not just TAO. That's further out, but Grayscale has the product infrastructure already. 3. Cross-subnet integrations. Ridges using Chutes for inference. Hippius storing training data for subnet 11 type miners. The subnet's becoming a connected stack, not a list. 4. The conviction mechanism actually rolling out and starting to lock team stakes. That changes what kind of projects can participate and pushes speculation-only subnets off the map. Watch those 4 signals. Everything else on crypto Twitter about subnets is noise. 128 subnets, $1.5 billion in alpha tokens. Most of them will go to zero, and a small handful will be massive. The job is picking the handful, not gambling on all of them. If this helped, hit subscribe and watch my last video on TAO for the full macro thesis. For everything else, research, receipts, the full Sleeping Giants list, I'm at @CryptoSGiants on X, link in the description. As always, not financial advice. Do your own research. I'll see you in the next one.